This is part two. I gotta add some thoughts to that, because what I did with this balancing the DMN, training and balancing the DMN and TPN was explain things that are good to do. And those things are to use a variety of ways of thinking and using your brain, right? What we exercise is what we adapt to. This one's gonna be a little different. I'm gonna tell you what you shouldn't do. And they're kind of personal recommendations for how I approach things. You got to figure it out. For me, the biggest thing is overstimulation. Like I mentioned, I don't like bars and clubs and things that are super loud, and I can't relax like that, right? And that might be a lot of people without ADHD, but it's definitely not a good thing for people who get overstimulated. The next thing would be what you don't want to do. Don't just stick with the usual stuff that you do. Do something new. Like you're trying to flex that muscle, that TPN. So what you don't want to do is limit your variety of methods. Do some math. You're a literature person or a literature major, or you like to write, or you tell everybody, I'm just creative, I can't deal with numbers. Go deal with numbers for a variety of reasons. I mean, not just because you learn a new skill and arithmetic helps keep your brain moving, but don't avoid things because you create ruts. You're making these grooves in your brain of the things that you do all the time. And everything you do sets the precedent to do it again. So not going to the gym today with an excuse does what? Makes it easier to not go tomorrow. So everything creates a habit, makes the habit for the next thing easier. So force yourself to do something you're not used to mentally, right? So we're back to trying to have to frame this in terms of what not to do. Don't stick with the same things over and over again, and try to avoid only these sort of off-on behaviors. Math is good because you need, arithmetic is mechanical, but a higher level towards actual mathematics, like when you get into, because higher, like mathematics is when you get to like set theory and proofs and all that. So the rest is just a combination of arithmetic, doing arithmetical operations. You need to have your brain, your DMN doing things. So math is a great thing to introduce. All right, let's go to the next thing. What else not to do? So we got overstimulation, using only one method, using only methods that are binary, on and off switch. This is why movies you got to be careful with, right? So you have to, don't do things that are not contained within a duration and an intensity. You need to be in control of these things. So whatever you're going to do, have a plan around it. Today, my TPN DMN balancing activity will be to do this for this long, and it's okay if you fail. It's okay if the DMN creeps in. It's okay if you get so focused that you don't let your mind work, because that's what happens, right? You do a math problem, you're just like, oh, I know the mechanics of this, and I just can't make it work. Sit back, let it work, right? So we're trying to balance things out here. So we got overstimulation, variety of methods, blending, not trying. That's the sin right there. If you don't even try this stuff, what do you expect? You'll get some results in days or weeks, but this could take months or years to manage depending on the severity. So don't be impatient and don't stop trying, and do not make excuses. If you don't do the things to try to get better, you won't get better. Do what you've always done, get what you've always got. Or let's see, we can reframe that negative for this video. If you don't try new stuff, you're not going to get new stuff, right? If ADHD is the habit of your brain and you don't teach it how to do something different, that's what it gets. So we're talking about corralling the activities and limiting the activities. Let's see, what else should you not do? Don't sit around. If you get stuck in a bad state, you must move. Do not sit and ignore your breathing pattern. Get breathing and get to the gym or somewhere. Do something physical every day, somehow, for 30, 45 minutes, an hour. Do something. Don't sit around. So don't sit around and don't do nothing. Is that even possible to do nothing? Because sitting is nothing. Don't do that either. Watch your tangents. Before you speak, prepare. Like I'm not doing for, see, this is a great example, this video. Don't speak on something more than casual without considering the environmental cues. Like you're dealing with people, look around. It's okay to pause. This is what people don't do. They don't pause. Not everybody, but most people, they just talk because it's like right there. But you have ADHD. You can't do that because you will ignore the environmental cues and say something that will offend somebody, or you'll say the wrong thing, like incorrect thing, or factually incorrect, or you'll say the inappropriate for the. I've never done that. Said anything inappropriate in the wrong situation. These are all life lessons, folks. Take notes. Stop yourself. Don't talk immediately. This is tough because the DMN does what? React. If you're in that mode and something happens, boom, you're right to it. Where the head goes, the body follows. Where the DMN goes, the mouth follows. So be really careful with that. Don't just talk. Think before you speak. That's a tough one. That's super tough. I get ruminate about that one all day. Don't go to drugs and alcohol. I know what it's like. Stay away from the stuff that brings down the volume. It makes it worse. Stay away from the pot, the alcohol, the downers, the uppers, the sideways, the silly pills, all of it. Microdosing, okay. Microdosing means subperceptual, okay? Not take a bag of mushrooms and then go to work. Do not do that. Because there is evidence that the psilocybin helps balance or integrate. Still not sure how to use these terms because I'm still not completely aware of all the facts. Helps integrate the TPN DMN. But in general, don't go to the drugs and alcohol. If that's a lifestyle problem you have right now, you need to fix that. And when you fix that, you might get some rebound on the ADHD. I don't know, it's all individual. But these things, when you're not drunk and high, what does it feel like? You feel like, I need to get drunk and high. And then when it is time to get drunk and high, how drunk and high do you get? You black out, you shut it down, you can't find. Here's a good measure. If you can't do a math problem, you're probably too drunk and high. That's one gauge. I'm not saying because then people think that that's like, McCain said in his professional medical advice, I'm not a doctor, this is not professional medical advice, that I should drink and smoke weed until I can just barely do a math problem. No, that's not what I'm saying. So avoid the overstimulation of the kind that is not good for your personality. Don't go with limited source of activity. You need the variety. Get with the variety. Don't go to the drugs and alcohol. Don't avoid your counseling. Don't avoid your friends. Don't eat the junk food. You start eating vegetables. Eat like an adult. There you go. You want to heal your brain? Heal the chemistry. Heal the body. Heal the body and your mind will follow. In most cases, again, not a doctor. But I'm saying for a mild case like me, I found that when I fixed myself, it brought the level of effectiveness of all the other methods that I used way up. It enhances, right? You get out of your own way. So if you want to know what not to do, don't get out of your own way. If you do that, if you don't get out of your own way, you will stay where you are. I can't think of anything more articulate right now to tell you about what not to do. But those are some things for sure to avoid. Take a look at your symptoms. Notice the environment. Stay out of the environments that are too overstimulating, or learn to cope with specific. Oh yeah, here's a good one. Don't try to tackle this whole thing all at once. Pick a thing. My attention. I forget things when I go down the stairs. Well, how can you fix that? Keep lists. Write it down on your hand. Carry a memo pad. I always did that. My last job, I didn't. People say, you remember? No, I don't remember that thing. Let me check. What day did you say it? Here's what we talked about. Now I remember. I'm not even trying to shove it into short or long-term memory. That's not even a task. That's, some things just aren't going to go. So there you go. There's plenty of stuff for you to do, and stuff for you to not do. Talk to you soon. In under 10 minutes. Yes.